So this is going to be interesting because I definitely wasn't feeling the vibe to want to go on, but at the same time, it feels like this word I use over and over again, a compulsion, a need. There's so much happening in the world right now. So I figured, why even fight the feeling? Just go on while you're feeling it. Okay? Blah, 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 long day, boo hoo. But who can ignore everything that's happening right now? So I'm going to just cut right to it. Not even going to start any filler, anecdotal, blah, blah, blah. Ha ha, look at that. Listen to my day. Oh, woe is me. I want to show a video immediately, get it out of the way. And then I would like to talk about some of the crazy. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Cindy D. My son's life mattered. That is an OG that's been with me. She's like family. And that rhyme was no mistake. Now, I'm curious. There has to be more people right now that are just now tuning in or have been thinking or are watching later in the future from now. You've been thinking that things are just getting to a fever pitch area. Now, I don't know the sum of all the parts here. I've heard some things that have made me even more alarmed about our current happenstance in the country. There's a lot. Let me say my hellos. I always do this in the beginning, and I hope it's not too disruptive, but I got to show love to the audience. What's up, Saffron? Peace to you, brother. Ronnie, Shamrock. I did catch some of CanCon's show on Badlands, an amazing, insightful show surrounded on this indictment. And that is something I have a whole portion of just, hey, Katie, of just what I want to talk about regarding this. And you want to use the term unprecedented and have it finally applicable because the Queen Savaba, hello and welcome. It's my guardian angel over there. Okay, that's it. No more hellos, maybe. No promises. I want to show this video first because this video exemplifies something very, very specific. I wish, hey, Jack, holy crap. I haven't seen you in a minute, brother. Welcome back, Jack. All right, check it. So here's a little area where I save videos that I find. I'm like, by God, this infuriates me. I have to face this. Let's start with a commercial. They've been really showing this commercial just nonstop to me. They really want me to go to China. Hey, chill. All right, so this video encompasses a lot of things to me. For one, it showcases the very different realities, the dystopian world that people that get to live under the security blanket, the veil of being in power. Not even being the one in power, but having mommy or daddy or uncle or whatever in the position of authority. And this video makes me sick on every possible human level, physically and psychologically disturbed, ill. I wanted to vomit, and I wanted to projectile vomit at the nearest target that upset me. Like I wanted my vomit to hit somebody that I knew this would apply to somehow. Basically, I don't know, if Hunter or Joe Biden walk on by, I'd be aiming for them because right now it just feels like a video like this is kicking this country while it's down when we need nothing more than what's the word, culpability, for the powers that be to own up to all of the mistakes instead of pretending it's a part of some grand plan that has been for the greater good all this time. I want them to cut the shit and take care of this magical thing called accountability that our entire government structure has completely forgotten. And I'm frothing at the mouth. So this video is the American people. We're already down like this, like, oh, please, no more. Okay, I get the point. I get it. You're stopping me on the skull. This video is more of that. And it's just going to maybe be that. It's not the last nail. There's more nails to come, but this is certainly a strong one. So I'm going to let it ride. It's all right this time. I got the audio. So here we go. I'm just going to let it ride. Let's let this happen in real time. I know I'm going to get pissed off and I need to keep it calm.
You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
That's
A
an
Utah
opening.
County Commissioner is
Let's
accused
listen.
of using his authority to intimidate law enforcement when his son is arrested for an outstanding warrant.
What do you want me to do?
I want you.
So this is just the beginning. They're giving you context. All right. I'm very eager for when the video actually officially begins. I want you to listen to this son, who his father is this Utah official confronts deputy. I don't know. He's up there, right? And you'll find out what his position is. You hear his son's voice. You can hear the entitlements and the shock. The shock is not from anything that spectacular. The shock is simply that he is being treated like an equal, like a peer, like anybody, you or I, if we made a mistake and the law was on our tail and we get got and we'd be handled. We wouldn't be shocked or appalled, be like, oh, damn it, here it goes. Okay, I know what's coming. Hopefully they won't, violate my rights. I'm going to jail. I'll let the tail of the tape speak for
Turn
itself.
him loose.
I can't turn him loose, Bruce.
Who can?
Nobody can. He's been arrested for a warrant. The courts can.
And the warrant's false.
Huh? The warrant's
The
not
warrant's
false. The warrant's
No.
The
Just
incident
warrant.
stems from a November 25th traffic stop when Kenneth
White
Adams
Dragon.
was pulled over for failure to signal and stop fully at a stop sign.
Now the audio kicks in.
How's it going?
Good. What did I do wrong?
Good. So the reason I stopped you is you didn't come to complete stop the stop sign.
Listen to this weakling's voice. Yes, this is entitlement, and this is what if entitlement had a voice, what it would sound like, an effeminate man.
I did.
And then you didn't have your turn signal on.
I sure did.
Body camera video shows San Juan County Sheriff's deputies speaking with Adams, who maintains he did not violate any rules.
I
Okay.
know for a fact I had my turn signal on.
Okay.
That's why I was surprised you were pulling me over, but whatever.
When officials run Adams's ID, they find a warrant out for his arrest.
Walk back up there.
It's gonna get so much better. At first, I was like kind of empathetic, right? Even in the beginning, you're like, oh my god, look, Daddy Commissioner, as White Dragon pointed out, came in and he's fighting for his son. Okay, I can understand a father fighting for his son. But when you start to hear, oh, and it was over, he didn't signal and he passed the stoplight. I was like, okay, maybe give him a break. But listen to all the breaks he's already had and listen to the charges. I am probably in real time going to see where this went because there needs to be an example made. It's fresh 4 days ago.
Step out. Well, no, we place an arrest for a warrant. Yes, active warrant.
As officials reapproach the vehicle, Adams becomes argumentative.
Does he know he
Okay.
got
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle with me?
What are you doing? No, what's going on? Seriously, what's
What?
going on?
You have a warrant.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. This is the first time I actually saw his face. I was listening while I was closing up. That's a grown ass man. This is who had Daddy try to bail him out. It's a white beard, if I'm not mistaken. Jesus H.
You're right.
Do I have a warrant?
That's the little boy. I'm sorry. I need to. I'm taking crazy pills over here. That right there. Can I get a full screen? Okay, that's the child right now. That sounds like that. Holy Jesus H. Okay, all right. So his dad is Santa Claus, or at least his age.
Adams tells officers the warrant is a mistake, saying he already appeared in court.
I don't know how you have a warrant, but it's on our system right now. You have an active warrant out of 7th District Court here in San Juan.
Hey, that one, bro.
No, that's incorrect. Because
Okay.
I've gone
Well,
to
it's on
court.
our system right now.
Well, you
I'm
need
not
to
going to
call-
argue with you
call
about it.
me.
You're going to go to jail tonight on that warrant, okay?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't.
When I was listening to this, I thought I was listening to like somebody in their 20s. That's a grown ass adult paying bills, man. What is going on?
Excuse me, like.
Excuse
no,
me, like what?
Okay.
This is, dude.
It's not like
Mr.
happening.
Adams, you do have an active warrant for your
An active
arrest.
warrant, Mr. Adams.
Well, who issued the warrant though?
The courts
The
have
court.
it issued.
For what though? Because I've gone to court for everything. There should not be an active warrant for me anywhere, dude.
Eventually, Adams agrees to get out of the vehicle.
Look, I called you dude, and I have this like very disarming, feminine voice that should make you feel like not threatened. And apropos, ergo, you should like totally let me go, dude. Okay, it's not like I did anything nefarious. There's no charges in there that would warrant you to actually put cuffs on me and put me in a place with those heathens, those working everyday people, those taxpayers. I don't know. Pish posh. My daddy is the commissioner. There's nothing I could have done. What did he do?
After that, he calls his mom.
What's that?
Oh,
I'm calling my
great.
parents.
Okay, you can call him. I'm going to put you in touch real quick.
Call my
I'm
mommy.
getting arrested. Apparently,
Right.
they think there's a warrant out for my arrest, Mom, and there's
Oh,
not.
so I don't know if you guys can hear the audio. Let me know if the audio is not up to par, and we'll deal with that. His mom is so, how do I put this? She's so convinced in her husband's position of authority that she refuses to believe this is real. While her 50-year-old son is actually getting arrested, she thinks it's a prank.
But I'm out by Eastland. I'm getting arrested. Eastland.
Born a Hawkeye,
And they're
you're
arresting me.
getting very close to being made a mod, my
The
brother.
cops are, Mom. Who
Check
else
out
is
Born a
arresting?
Hawkeye's channel.
Adams repeatedly tells his mom the call is not a joke.
I'm going to jail.
Where you belong, you little
Mom, they are handcuffing me right now. I've asked them for the warrant, and they don't tell me anything about a search warrant. So nothing, not for using anything, Mom. They're arresting me because they said there was a warrant for me.
Okay, I'm hanging the phone up.
No, I'm not kidding, Mom.
Sheriff's deputies escort Adams to the back of a squad car where he continues to ask about the warrant.
Well, then my question is who? This is a joke. This is seriously the biggest joke I've ever heard of.
Like, guys, law enforcement, just wait till I call my buddies in Antifa, and we are just gonna railroad you in the way that you're thinking, honey. Okay, all right. I'm not trying to hit below the belt. I'm sure he is. Whoa, zinger. Okay.
When you turned on your
Trish,
lights, I knew there was
good to have
something
you.
going on.
It was issued October 13th
For what?
this year.
All right,
When the warrant
Hawkeye.
was issued.
For what?
It had some felony charges, burglary charges.
Dude,
Burglary.
I've been to court for that. No, I've been to court
Felony
for that.
charges.
All right, let's
Felony.
Look that way real quick so I can fix it.
Not just one burglary counts.
Well, if I've been to court, then why am I getting arrested?
I don't know. I don't know what all the court's purposes are for filing the warrant. All I know is there is a warrant, okay? So that's going to be up to you and the courts to be able to figure that out, all right?
Officials eventually read off the list of charges against him.
List.
You want to know the charges?
Yeah, I do.
So it has 2 burglary charges listed, a theft charge,
Burglary.
That's all my old case.
3 charges of burglary of a vehicle, and
Yeah.
criminal trespass.
Three separate charges, 6 charges in total. 3 separate charges of burglary of a vehicle. And he's out and about. How?
Why is that floating up now?
When we cannot hold the people in power accountable, why should we ever expect justice delivered during the most dire moments? I'm going to make a quick comparison to the picking and choosing of who gets served what. Okay? Trump was indicted, but the indictment is sealed, which is completely against, to my understanding, from watching CanCon on the show. That's against the rights of the people. I think everybody has a right to know under what charges is Trump indicted under. I'm getting a loose understanding that it has to do with Stormy Daniels, but that whole portion is for after this video. All right, so there was a list. Let me just show you guys real quick. God, my mind is everywhere, and it's really hard to keep focus. That video's still there. Okay, real quick. This is the danger of this example I'm showcasing. Okay, a commissioner's son that's got a bajillion felony charges, and he's out, and he just got picked up, and they cannot believe it, and daddy comes out, and he threatens him. You're going to see that soon. All right, and meanwhile, because it happens at the lower level, it happens like this. Hunter Biden, not indicted, regardless of every bit of video and a laptop and everything we know associated with him and the compromising relationships with foreign countries that could be maybe considered an enemy. And, you know, we definitely could have gotten him on trafficking because he was literally taking prostitutes from different countries and taking them through, you know, country to country to country. Literally trafficking. Definition of trafficking. Okay? These were prostitutes being trafficked. But no, not indicted. The big guy. I don't know why it's worded like that. We're talking about Joe Biden, the guy we have his voicemail to his son saying, don't worry about just expect the New York Times is going to do a piece, but it's handled. Thank you for that, Joe Biden, and everything else you've done. And you're lying through your teeth since 1985, and there's videos of you back then lying to a reporter who did his homework, but they didn't have the internet or Google or ChatHTP, whatever that is. South Park taught me. He lied and said he was at the top of his class from a Stanford or some Ivy League, and it turns out he didn't even attend that school, and he was also bottom of his class. Bottom of his class, lying to a reporter and just like political theater today. Everybody in the crowd was, oh, listen to this man. What a leader. This was clearly before the corn pop days and the ankle hairs, but who knows? The Clintons, okay, my favorite personally, especially when Hillary Clinton did so much to sabotage Bernie Sanders' campaign, okay? And everything tied with them. I don't know what to say without getting too deep down the rabbit hole, but I'll just say things. And I never did a special on spirit cooking, but the tie, okay, the connections of spirit cooking and this woman that practices basically, how do I explain this without getting kicked off YouTube immediately and starting a Rumble channel right now? This woman, her job, and all the big celebrities, Lady Gaga, they go to her for guidance, spiritual guidance and whatnot. She makes cakes that look like human beings and children. Yes. And she has parties for that. The Clintons are like this with her. Sorry, I'm getting lost here. Epstein's clients, anybody? Not indicted. Mr. Ouchie, not indicted. DC insider traders, Nancy Pelosi and her husband. Nothing. Just some failed attempt at unaliving that was probably some sort of setup. Iraq war criminals? Nope. I love saying this one out loud. COVID criminals, because you took people's lives away and livelihoods in one fell swoop, and freedoms and everything that comes with it. Nobody. BLM protesters, BLM being founded and predicated on a lie, something I was never comfortable with saying back when I was blue no matter who, but here we are in a very different climate. So now, bearing all that in mind, this gets to happen because this happens every day. And I want to know how often it happens when there's not a camera rolling.
Adams then asks whether someone can pick up the vehicle for him.
Is this your vehicle?
It's my rental, yeah.
Your rental? Okay.
So can my parents at least come and get it?
Where's Maxine Waters' indictment for inciting just as much violence as allegedly Trump, who literally said, I want you all to go there peacefully. And Maxine Waters says, we're going to do... I can't repeat what she says. She violates the terms of service. But, yeah, nobody's batting an eye.
Sheriff's deputies then call Adams' mom about the vehicle.
Hey, this is Deputy Giddings. How you doing? Good.
Good.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. We were just calling to let you know that the car that Kenneth has, if you guys are willing to come pick it up, it's over here about milepost 6 on 491.
After Adams is taken to the county jail, his father, San Juan County Commissioner Bruce Adams, arrives on the scene.
Jesus, the dad looks younger than the son. What happened there in this lack of evolutionary traits? I guess, hey guys, this is what it looks like when you don't do meth for a lifetime, and the son is an example of meth for a lifetime. Okay, all right. So here's Santa Claus coming to the rescue.
Well, we're letting you take the car so we don't have to impound
And
it.
get very interesting.
I don't want it impounded.
I know, that's why we're letting you take it.
Deputy Wyatt Holyoke wrote in his report that Bruce Adams was, quote, trying to use his influence as a county commissioner to intimidate him. He also stated that
Where would he learn behavior like that? Gee, let me think.
Bruce Adams swore at him multiple times, demanding to see his son's warrant.
These are the same people that instituted COVID lockdowns, that went to the beach and the restaurants, and the media reported on it, kind of, or some independent somebody put it out there, and they enjoyed themselves. Well, you know, people were deemed non-essential and going broke slowly and dying.
Hey, where's Kenneth?
He's in jail. They took him.
You already took him to jail?
They took him to jail, and I stayed here with the car.
My son, who has 6
For a
felonies,
Who do I
jail?
call to find out?
To
Wyatt?
find out the warrant?
You're a police officer. Tell me who I call to find out why he's in jail.
Deputy
My son that committed 6 felonies, 3 vehicular burglaries of some variant, and also 2 like breaking and entering burglary charges, and then another theft. He's in jail? What? I am outraged. I am appalled. Hold on. For dramatic effect. This is what he'd do if he could. Oh, what do you mean justice is working right now? Not for my family. I'm in a position of power. The taxpayers pay me to act this entitled. And you expect me to sit down and watch my son get... I didn't even get to be here to stop you from cuffing him. He's already in jail? No, I've paid too much, and the lobbyists and special interests have put too much money in my back pocket to screw you, the people, over. You can't do this to me. Sorry, I got a little crazy there. I don't know what became over me. It must be all that. I don't know. I think I just went full Democrat. And Republicans do the same. Okay, let's be fair.
Deputy Holyoke then calls his boss, asking whether he's allowed to show Adams his son's warrant.
I guarantee you and I would not get that little olive branch. This officer is calling his boss to get permission to show and read the warrant. Why? For no other reason. Not because he's a fellow human being or an American taxpayer, but because he is in a position of power. And if we learn to expect the people that are in power to get treated like this, better than us, we can never look at ourselves in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm shocked at how our country is.
Hey, boss. Hey, so I got Bruce Adams here. Braden took Kenneth to jail on a warrant. Can I show Bruce the warrant? What's the protocol there?
Not usually.
Yeah, he's pretty mad.
Eventually, the deputy is given the okay to show Adams the warrant.
I gotta be careful with this stuff, Bruce. You understand that? Okay. That's the warrant. Okay, so it says warrant status active, offense burglary, burglary, theft, criminal mischief, burglary of a vehicle, burglary of a vehicle, burglary
He's
of a
already
vehicle,
been to court over that.
criminal trespass,
Over which one?
normal 7th
He's
District
already
Court,
been to
Monticello.
court.
Bruce, we don't have anything to do with that.
Come on,
All we know
Bruce.
is that the warrant issues a
What would Bruce Wayne do?
that the court issues a warrant. That's all we know.
Adams pushes back, saying his son has already been to court and accepted a plea of abeyance.
Hell, he's been to court and been charged. He has a plea in abeyance on all that.
We got
I don't know, Bruce. I
you
have
know,
no
the
idea.
officer should be like, we got a Joe/Hunter Biden situation here. Again, I repeat, we got a Biden family situation. That's a code blue. Someone please come on out here because I'm about to catch case.
Who knows?
The courts. The
I
courts are the
can't
only
get
ones who know.
I can't get to the court until Monday
Right.
because of
Same here, born a hawk eye from extreme lefty, radical, progressive Bernie Sanders voting to literally at some point I met with somebody who turned out to be with Antifa, and they only gave me the surface level stuff until we ended up on a phone call where they told me they were full on communists and they wanted me to participate in some very illegal acts. Yeah.
a son of a false arrest.
It's you saw the warrant right
False
there.
arrest.
I
And
showed
he's
you a
been to
warrant. that I'm
court.
not
He's
supposed
been
to show
charged
you.
with that, and he has a plea in abeyance on all of it.
Adams then asked the deputy to release his son from jail.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to turn him loose.
I can't turn him loose, Bruce.
Who can?
Nobody can. He's been arrested for a warrant. The courts can.
And the warrant's false.
Huh? The warrant's not
It's
false.
active.
After that, he threatens to pursue legal action against the county.
You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
The warrant's right there.
Kenneth Adams was released from jail days after his arrest.
Let me clarify. Okay, we have a leader right there of some kind. Sadly, the phrase and term leader is applicable next to that name, and he's threatening to sue an individual, and the only way to get payment, restitution, would be for we the people, the burden of the taxpayer, to feed this man's ego. So he threatened to sue his own constituency. Now that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Bold move, brother. Bold move. Piece of shit.
And the warrant was later withdrawn. Law & Crime Network reached out to Bruce Adams for a comment on this story, but have not yet heard back.
Shocking.
Reporting for Law & Crime
Shocking.
Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Oh, nope. Don't
I'm a
do that.
27-year-old.
Alex Murdaugh. I watched the documentary, by the way. Okay. So I guess this is what it's about right here, what I'm about to play. And man, this is gonna be like I feel like, you know, I have to be nothing but
Up to
transparent.
5 devices at the same time.
I have to be transparent and sincere. Like it was a crazy day at work. I want to play the PS5, eat dinner, blah, blah, blah. But the things that are brought up, I admire Russell Brand and his tenacity and his ability to speak so eloquently. I understand, though, why I've gotten criticisms about me sometimes using words maybe where they're not necessary, but it is my means of speaking. It's my comfort. I hope some of this, I'm going to try to pick and choose here, but there's some things that are pointed out that are just too important to ignore. And some of those things fall very critically on the Biden administration, our backwards law or intelligence, whatever has gotten Trump indicted, which we still don't know. They're not allowing the public to know due to what. I don't have a full grasp or understanding. I need to have a further conversation for clarification. But okay, this one's going to piss me off too.
On the notification bell because we make this
Yes.
know that they have a different set of interests to us entirely. And this is not an abstract idea. What I mean specifically by that is when decisions are being made, and then make decisions that make it worse.
We're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night.
That's what he ran on, but he's saying this today o'clock. Okay.
With more security.
Yeah.
So they're making it all personal about you at bedtime. They're trying to psychologically reach into your heart, like the actual you that feels loneliness and heartbreak and fear about your kids. And oh no, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that?
Things they don't feel. Right.
Provoke that linguistically with like neuro-linguistic.
It's their weapon to try to appear human.
Programming techniques that they're schooled in. You know, I don't mean Joe Biden personally. I mean, that's how political rhetoric works.
I mean it personally. And yes, that is how political rhetoric works. But yeah, Joe Biden, I'll screw you, sir. Okay. I'd say F, but I'm trying to watch my P's and Q's a little bit for as long as I can last on YouTube. Everybody's going to Rumble though. Just adding that. Please stop attacking my monetization, YouTube. I saw you didn't like what I said in the last video. Apparently, when I mentioned something about the LGBTQ community and, I don't know, pew-pews, I'd love a well-responded email that says exactly what line I crossed and how. Like, just tell me where the censorship is so I can more intelligently walk around it or come up with more ridiculous terminology like unaliving and seedless grapes.
And then they don't do anything about it. Just for a moment, bear in mind that the person you're listening to is the President of the United States. It's not like me or some campaigner or activist. We're going to take on...
No, we have Mr. President in the chat. That's birthday chat supervisor, Mr. Warren. That's the Mr. President. To you, Mr. Brandt.
Those powerful interests. Oh, great, brilliant. I'll tell you what you can do is you can sponsor a bill that's going to meaningfully regulate Big Pharma. You can say from now on the Democrat Party aren't going to accept funding from Big Pharma. You can have another bill that's going to change the FDA. You're going to do another bill where people in Congress can't own stocks and shares in Big Pharma, Big Tech, or any other meaningful organization that might try to hijack the system. Do all that stuff. Then you can use all of the emotional, sanctimonious rhetoric that you want. And we'll know, no, this geezer, he means it because we've seen the decisions he made. Not decisions that look like you're doing something but don't.
These are things that have been promised and talked about for, I'm embellishing, a millennia, okay? How often have we heard from the politician of the day, year, whatever? They're like PMS, only they come less frequently. That's what they're like, a period. That's what our presidents are like, okay? Minus the exception we had, and look how that's going for them. They make these promises of taking money out of politics, which would be a huge source of relief for some sort of honesty in our republic, in our democracy. Okay, they sit there and talk about Big Pharma being the enemy. Meanwhile, Big Pharma is the ones literally sponsoring them and putting all the greenery in their wallets. You can't sit there and look the American people in the face and say you're going to war with all of them. And there's a specific two specific tales that just it should make your soul hurt if you're human, period. Let's see if I can get to that point.
Actually affect the interests of the powerful. That's the trick, isn't it? Oh God, it's gone too far. We're going to have to do something. Can we pass a bill where we say we're going to regulate, but it's only about 4 or 5 drugs and they can make their profits elsewhere? Yeah, let's do that then. Oh, should we pass a bill where we're going to pretend that people in Congress can't own stocks and shares, but they're able to have a spouse or a dependent child? Yeah,
that's a shot at, do I have to really say it out loud? Come on, class. I know you're intelligent enough. Okay, I'm not trying to be condescending or insulting. You know who that was a shot at, right? Can anybody say it before I do? I know there's a little lag here, so feel free. Just put the first letter of the name of the now notorious couple. Let me check the chat. Let me see. I know you guys can participate, and I'm aware of the lag. Okay, well, I'm not going to wait for the lag. Oh, did it freeze? No. Okay, thank goodness. That was a clear shot at Pelosi, whose husband has insider trading knowledge, and because of the law, I don't know how this serves anybody. This is not even transparency. 30 days after the insider trading is done, after the damage is done, after they reap the rewards and make millions or billions of dollars, they have to release everything after 30 days. So what is being accomplished? Okay, I had a moment.
Let's just do that then. They're not willing to attack the system that they're part of. They're not willing to dismantle their own house around them. That's why you and me have to demand systemic change. That's why we have to say, well, okay, what would sort of make it all break apart? It would break apart if they couldn't own stocks and shares. It would break apart if they couldn't accept lobbying money. It would break apart if they couldn't accept donations. That still wouldn't be the solution. We'd still have the problems, the cultural problems that we have now. We'd still have military and geopolitical and ecological challenges. But at least what we would have is now a system where the people in power were at least able to do what they're pretending to do currently. Oh my God, we've got to take on these powerful interests. Shit, this is a problem, isn't it? By the Senate and the Congress. Well, then it is all pointless, isn't it? Then it literally is pointless. If the president's like, oh, well, I can't do anything. Well, you fuck off then. We might as well start again.
We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. Not anymore.
Really? Really? How long has this been a talking point for the Democratic Party? Bernie Sanders really meant it at the time. Recently, I finally have had some conflict with something he said, I think on Bill Maher. He's a part of the capitalistic game that he criticizes so much. I can't look at that anymore and say it's not the case. But aside from that, now Biden is telling us not anymore. So we're going to learn of a very heartbreaking example of how badly he's lying to us.
Not anymore.
Watch the Do Use mirror. When you draw on a whiteboard.
Hold on, Bernie Sanders. Capitalism is doing its thing. Sorry. Oh, Bernie.
Joe Biden personally take from Big Pharma. How much money does the Democrat Party take from Big Pharma and the Republican Party? How much do they take from the financial industry? How much lobbying do they receive? How many times have they inserted loopholes into their legislation? Right now, are they willing to intervene when it comes to a vital prostate cancer drug that was developed by taxpayer money being meaningfully...
Okay, from here on, this is exactly where I was hoping it would get to. Listen as carefully as you can and absorb everything. This is very important, and it's the most crystal clear example of everything wrong with our medical health care.
Regulated when it comes to its pricing. No. Right, stop clapping then. Stop the bullshit, except that this is theatre. Nothing real's happening in that building. In the summer...
I saw Bernie Sanders and he's clapping. Bernie! Okay.
Of 2020, then California Attorney General Xavier Becerra demanded the Trump administration use existing law to lower the price of medicines that were originally developed at taxpayer expense. So when there were no consequences to their words, i.e. they didn't have the administrative power to implement what they were saying, they agreed, hey, this should change. We've got to do something about drug prices. We cannot afford to leave the supply of this critical medication to chance and the whims of the marketplace when it was funded in part by taxpayer dollars. Becerra wrote in a letter to the Trump administration in response to the high price of remdesivir, which treats COVID-19. Less than 3 years later, the agency run by Becerra, now Health and Human Services Secretary in the Biden administration.
I promise this gets to something that you'll be happy to have learned. This is what CanCon would call a black pill.
Rejected the same demand from 2 cancer patients unable to afford the $180,000 a year cancer patient price of remdesivir, which treats COVID-19. Less than 3 years later, the agency run by Becerra, now Health and Human Services Secretary in the Biden administration, just rejected the same demand from 2 cancer patients unable to afford the $180,000 a year price of a medicine whose development was originally funded by the public. Just remember,
So a medication that could possibly be a life-saving drug for 2 cancer patients. It was originally created by taxpayers and people just like you and me that volunteered and people that were there to help. Okay, they put this all together without knowing it was only going to be exploited, without knowing this was just going to be maximized for profit and put over actual human life. So let's keep listening.
A minute ago in your life, we watched Joe Biden go, I know what it's like. My dad lying in bed, looking at the ceiling. Heaven forbid your spouse gets cancer. Right, that's your imagination. In real life, now, 2 Americans, $180,000 a year charge for a medicine whose development was originally funded by the public. That's actually even worse. That's worse than his rhetorical trip. Right, the American public, are you all willing to pay tax? Well, otherwise we're going to prison. Okay, right, so here's your tax dollars, hand them over. We're going to develop this cancer drug. Yep, it's works. It's a good cancer drug.
Taxpayer money. Our money went to fund this thing for in the dire situation that we need to save a loved one or our own skin.
Fantastic. You guys distribute that and sell it, take a small profit. No, take an exorbitant profit. So exorbitant, in fact, that the very people who participated in its development can't afford it when their relatives have got cancer. That is the opposite of the rhetoric. We cannot accept that. Our willingness to mentally gerrymander and make sense of that. It's only because it's complex. We're going to develop this cancer drug. Yep, it works. It's a good cancer drug. Fantastic. You guys distribute that and sell it, take a small profit. No, take an exorbitant profit. So exorbitant, in fact, that the very people who participated in its development can't afford it when their relatives have got cancer. That is the opposite of the rhetoric. We cannot accept that. Our willingness to mentally gerrymander and make sense of that. It's only because it's complicated and it's not as simple as that, and because of Congress and the Senate and the Republicans will oppose it. That's why it continues, because we're not willing to go, fuck this. That's enough now. That's enough, old man. Get out of fucking way. You can fuck off. Let's get some people in here that are willing to do stuff. They're willing to go, well, go in there. We'll front them out. Until you start acting like normal.
It can't be just me, but only I can think in the way I do, just like each and every one of you lovely individual, independent thinking people can only feel the way you feel when you take in some information. But I hope that shakes you to the very core of your bones and your spirituality, your higher power, your heart, what makes us human. Okay, that example right there. Every good-natured, willed person that went in, every Joe Schmo, John Q. Jane Doe that helped fund this by working our asses off day after day with a thankless job. Not saying that's my case. And finally, something comes through that can help us when help is needed the most. And the huge, what do I call these? Big pharma. There's no better term. Big pharma, the elite, the 1%, these people in power are time and time again choosing to profiteer. They could still profit if they can accept a smaller margin. But no, what does it end up being mathematically, financially, for families, for mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters? What is the bill? Over $180,000 a month, was it? They can't do anything with that? No. And the two people that need it declined. Well, sorry, Joe Schmo, we're going to have to milk you more with our chemo and everything else. We need to keep you alive but miserable so we can keep on getting the cash cow somehow. It's disgusting. It's disheartening. It breaks my
You're going to
fucking
live
heart.
with this bullshit. Current laws allow regulators to rescind exclusive patent protections for government-developed drugs when action is necessary to alleviate health or safety needs, or when a medicine is not available to the public on reasonable terms. So I guess the legislation already exists for people that have got relatives dying of cancer. And we all know, like, who among us didn't lose someone from cancer, doesn't know someone with cancer, hasn't got someone right now being treated? It's all of us, isn't it? It's one of.
I'm sure my uncle would do well with this, whatever this drug is, but it's not an option for us, I suppose.
Those things, which, by the way, only exist because we have such terrible diets and lifestyles. We'll get into that later. Like, you don't get cancer if you don't eat the shit we eat, but bloody hell, let's deal with one thing at a time. That's another lobbying industry that has to be tackled that they won't tackle because it's more powerful interest, because they benefit from you getting the cancer, then they benefit from treating you from the cancer, and they benefit from low horizon, sick, weary people that aren't vital and vibrant and awake and ready to go. We'll deal with that in a minute. The law already exists to prevent it. They're not using it. However, in rejecting that move for the prostate drug Xandy, the National Institute of Health, which is part of the HHS, declared that the purpose of existing law is designed to promote the commercialization and public availability of government-funded inventions, with a primary purpose to allow government funding recipients to own patent rights. So they're arguing that the people that receive the government funding do own the patent rights and are somehow then exempted from the obligation to allow people to acquire it at a reasonable price. Seems like that.
How does that work?
Farmer this year. My dad used to look at the ceiling worrying about cancer. It's a good job you went president. Everyone would be fucking dead. Becerra's department sided with pharmaceutical.
I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry to hear that. Condolences. Everybody in the chat. Kate is somebody special to me, and we're here for one another. I don't call people family anymore through this platform, although you guys are just as good and as well. But we do try our best to act as a community.
Pharmaceutical companies, Pfizer and Astellas, despite Astellas selling the prostate cancer medicine in other countries at a fraction of its price in the United States. Oh my God. So American taxpayers pay for it, then they go to other countries and sell it more reasonably. You're paying for them to go elsewhere and sell that drug at a...
Yep, typical. Just like we get, I guess, to pinch pennies for the working man by allowing sweatshops in foreign countries to do work that could be done here, all in the name of the same people in power to keep profiting. Yeah, I think I almost lost my point here, but they allow people to go out of their way and service and sell the life-saving drug for people with cancer much more cheaper, far cheaper in other countries. This is an American-made drug that could change the world. Who knows? That might be an embellishment. We don't know because we're not using it for our people. Apparently, those in power have no care for us as people, human beings, as life. We are not sacred. We are not honored. We are not appreciated. We are tired and we are pissed. But foreign countries, discount price all the way.
Profit. That's a systemic problem that you should just end that now, shouldn't you? Because once you know that, and once you discuss that in Congress, anyone that votes against it is scum. Like, that's it, isn't it? Oh, you're scum then? Yeah, okay, good. You've admitted you're scum. You can fuck off and all. As long as these people are pretending, they're all pretending to be nice, aren't they? That's their whole deal. We are actually...
What's up, Base Girl? It's great to have you in the chat. You're lighting it up. Kia ora.
Very nice. We like trans people and that. Yeah, I like trans. Let people be what they... That's off the menu. If someone's trans, they're trans. If someone's like gay, just leave people alone. Leave people alone and let them be out. Let's celebrate and enjoy and love one another. Cool. Now, stop pretending to be nice.
So then, okay, while we always paint the picture of pandering, why not show appreciation for life by saving it?
When you're scum. We cannot make this show without our fantastic sponsors. And
I kind of like his sponsor, but I'm not going to play this. Just Russell Brand talks the talk, walks the walk, and I'm proud. I've watched his whole evolution. And as soon as he went from appearing not so left, the mass media dropped him as being a darling. He was on Morning Joe. Look up the YouTube clip of Russell Brand on Morning Joe with Mika or whatever. And he destroys them. He runs the whole show himself and does it brilliantly. He shows you how stupid you got to be an American journalist in the mainstream.
And now let's go back to the story I was just then talking about, which probably talks about centralized power, doesn't it? And big tech and how we're all being tyrannized and turned into drones. All
right. So I think I got the point across. And let's do kind of a final note. Give me a moment, please. So my final note is this. I have to be very transparent about the fact that I don't have a full understanding. Well, Matt, I can't be the only one. This whole indictment crap on Trump. I listened to Keon Collins live on badlands.com or through Rumble. He sent me the link. I should probably, YouTube wouldn't let me share it and it wouldn't be clickable. I need to put it on a community post. There is talk, and remember how plugged in he is, and I really am starting to get this insecurity that I name drop him too often, but I'm proud to know somebody who takes journalism seriously. Gateway Pundit, that's who he writes for. He was talking to somebody with a great reach about they're throwing caution to the conservative base, the MAGA base, okay? And I wanted to make sure I said this loud and clear today on this channel, on a live. I am absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt in my mind, and I was not even certain, as much as I tout, oh yes, I have evolved from, blue no matter who, Bernie Sanders, progressives, fuck the squad, to saying I would have voted for Trump. Well, now, especially with how hard the mainstream powers are trying to railroad him, more than ever, I want to show them that every dirty trick they try is a big backfire in their face. So what have they effectively done? Why, thank you, mainstream darlings. You have convinced me, because you're trying to do so much harm to him that he was definitely doing things that just broke your status quo, went against your general interest to keep the swamp running. And now I am proudly awaiting for an opportunity to vote him in as president. Clip that up and show it to all my lefty friends. I'm sure they'll be pleased as punch. So that's what I hope occurs with anybody that's being spoon-fed this nonsense about him being indicted and how this is somehow justified, when we just went through a laundry list of people who have done far worse, including trafficking and worse than that, none of which has been indicted. Okay. There was another thing, and I get lost in the passion and in the moment. So aside from admitting I'm looking forward to voting for him, no matter how hard they're trying to make it for him to not exist on the ticket, and yes, I'm looking forward to DeSantis in any shape or form that he runs. So clearly, I'm almost full-blown conservative, but I get to keep my progressive and my patriot there because I still have some values. They just have taken a back seat because things are so upside down. The problems that were big are small, and the problems that were small are big, as I keep on saying. Parental rights is now a huge thing. Okay, so here's the important message. Okay, so people with an audience, okay, smart, intelligent people on the right with their large reach are trying their best to keep the message out there to their base. Do not do any massive protests. It's not the time. An indictment, there's Nancy Pelosi unceremoniously said, oh, Trump will have the ability to prove his innocence in a court. I'm sorry, Nancy Pelosi, you might be a scum, corrupt criminal in a place or seat of power with a husband that does all this insider trading to keep you guys filthy, and I mean filthy, rich, but that's not how it works. All right, isn't it innocent until proven guilty? So you're talking like as if. Meanwhile, the indictments are sealed. That's, I don't believe, the way it's supposed to work. We're supposed to know exactly why he has been indicted. He is not in any cell, and I am staying in touch with CanCon and every other source and friend that I have as often as possible. But I am hearing wind that, and when the bridge is crossed, then something will happen. The bridge has not been crossed yet, but there is talk. If this indictment BS does go forward and the mainstream puppets and puppeteers try to actually get him in those four walls with the bars in front, there is going to be some sort of response and recourse that I don't feel that the mainstream American or the mainstream talking heads, yada, yada, the MSM, period, the status quo, and maybe a certain generation of liberals are just not ready to see how far Americans that are sick and tired, and it's more than you may think, are willing to go. This is no threat. This is an observation of other people talking about things that are blowing up right in our face. I saw briefly a video of a Russian aircraft being intercepted. I'm assuming this is true because I don't believe that I associate with liars, but there is a lot going on, and I do not have enough information to report on that, but it makes me even more alarmed at everything happening at once. And then I guess the conspiracy theorist or cynicist skeptic the gears start to turn and turn and turn. And sorry, I just saw, if you want to talk a little less censored, I'll be live. Okay, word, got you. And yes, please go to Birthday Chat Supervisor Justin Royan's page. I call him Mr. President. I do pop up on there, and I give far less shits, and I say just about everything on there. I start to think that I don't know what's controlled and what's true. So Russian fighter jets crossed our airspace. We intercepted them and took them back to Mother Russia. Is this the accurate story? What was is this? Do I have the facts? And am I retelling what is reality accurately? And I don't know if the mainstream is playing tricks on us to make us think or vote a certain way, because remember, Mockingbird is still active. We just call it Blue Falcon now. So just always be skeptical, celebrate your independent thinking, because by God, I think we're finally getting to a point where it could be just not taken away, but treated as if it doesn't matter if laws and politicians continue to behave in the manner of which the commissioner did in the first video, and every other scumbag that's putting away anybody they want to, anybody they can, because they just happen to disturb things as they were always supposed to be, meant to be by those in power. We got a taste of something a little different, and it's a taste that we're not just going to let go so easily. So bear that in mind, so-called powers that be, because you just have no idea. The last live I did where I showed how France simultaneously, in an organized, strategic fashion, disrupted the taking out of the trash, the subway systems, the airports, everything. The working class man and woman recognizes, or once we can recognize the power we hold, everything you have will mean nothing, and you'll learn to beg for our forgiveness. And that's the day I stay alive to see. Progressive Patriot out. Thank you all. Shamrock, Queen Survivor, DD, Born a Hawkeye. I dig his channel too. Everybody that's been here, Base Girl, it's refreshing to see you again. Jack, haven't seen you in a minute. White Dragon, Lewis, a little back. Oh yeah, Andrew Tate. That's a whole other thing. Ooh, new episode on South. Thank you. All right, y'all. I'm out. Good night. Much love. Please treat yourself like a garden and tend to it before you start watering someone else's. And again, independent thought, independent thinking. That's all we have. And then putting that together and maximizing the power of our voice. That's what they're afraid of. That's forever our power. Good night. I'm gone. Bye, Tricia.